Dr. Kurtis Pearson joining us now.
That's right. Kurt, thank you very much for coming in. Now, we constantly hear the economy's on the turnaround, the economy's on the rebound. Then why does it seem that unemployment still seems to be rising in some areas?
Well, unemployment is a lagging economic indicator, meaning typically in the past, the economy bottoms about 6 to 9 months before unemployment usually peaks out. And so this is very typical of past recessions where we begin to see the economy turn around, but we could still hear somewhat bad unemployment news, I should say, for the next 6 to 9 months. I would expect the unemployment numbers to really begin to turn around, say, later this year, sometime in the fourth quarter.
Okay. Now, what about rates for new mortgages? We understand they went up yesterday because of poor Treasury auction. What does that mean, and how will it impact people's stocks?
Yeah, the government, as we all know, has spent a lot of money to try to stimulate the economy. Well, that money has to come from somewhere, and one of the main sources for these government expenditures is the government likes to borrow. And so who buys the paper? Well, the bonds and the notes are bought by other countries, by some of us in the general public. And what happened earlier this week is when they took that paper out to the open market, there weren't a lot of buyers for it. And it created a lot of uncertainty in the credit market. Now, the auction that has occurred a little bit later this week actually was very positive. And so I think the point is the stock market and all of us in the economic world are going to be watching pretty closely how these Treasury auctions go moving forward. Because if there continues to be a good, strong demand for U.S. debt, then that will really help the government fund all these expenditures to stimulate the economy, and they won't have to print more money. Yeah. If they have to print more money, then we can really see the inflation issue begin to take front and center stage.
Now, how much faith should we put in the stock market rally? Could we be getting faked out by all this?
Yeah, very good question. We never know about the stock market for sure. I did attend a conference within the past week, and some of the top economic minds in the country really believe that the bottom has been put in for the stock market. They do anticipate that there may be a little bit of a retest where we may go down a little bit from here, but this week actually has been indicative of the strength, I believe, in the stock market, because the market has been drifting kind of sideways, which is actually good news. If the market is kind of spinning its wheels, a lot of times if you're in a negative environment, it will just automatically drift lower and it will actually close lower. This week we've had some downward movement, but during the trading day there were buyers that came in and the market ended up basically unchanged. And so those kinds of signs tell me that there is a different psychology that we're dealing with now as compared to 6 months ago.
All right, Kurt, thanks so much for coming in this morning.
It's good to be here.
If we want to get in touch with you, how do we do so?
Local number is 327-1020.